Hello, it's me, and what I'm going to do is, this is by request, and I'm going to be going over a little bit more details in terms of how to do this Lanlan dodecahedron. Now, this isn't really so much going to be a tutorial like I had done so many months ago. This is going to be what I would call a walkthrough. And what I want to see if I can do with this walkthrough is to see if I can describe how to solve this without any prior knowledge of how to solve, say, a 4x4. So that's going to be the challenge. Now I have as reference here an actual 4x4, which I'm going to have to be kind of alluding to see about solving it. The first thing that I want you to notice, and again, this is not for the advanced solver, this is not, this is for those who specifically would request how to solve this as more kind of a walkthrough with little other modification experience. So what do I mean by modification? This is actually this. This is a modification of a 4x4. What you see here is it's 4 layers. You've got, unlike the 3x3, you've got centers, which are now in 4 instead of just 1. You've got 2 pairs of edges that look almost exactly alike, and then of course you've got the corners, which are the same. This is reflected exactly the same as what we see over here. But what's happened is that because it's a rhombic dodecahedron, you've taken a side and you've pulled it out to make this, and then you've defined new sides. But this is actually the side here. This correlates with this over here. And this center here, these 4 correlate with these 4. Let's look at this back here. These edges here correlate with these edges. So what we have is we've got 4 centers, we've got 2 sets of edges, and then we've got corners. So these are corners here. So the solve is almost exactly the same, except for the fact that we have to coordinate colors. So here's what we're going to do in my first ever attempt at a walkthrough as opposed to a solve or a tutorial. We're going to go ahead and scramble both of these and correlate those together. So let's do it. Okay, so we have ourselves 2 really nicely scrambled puzzles. So here's what we're going to do first. Now, I assume no knowledge of how to solve a 4x4. So the first step, the difference between the 4x4 and the 3x3, is we have to collapse these puzzles down. I have to collapse the 4x4 down to a 3x3 and solve it like a 3x3. What that means is I have to place the centers. I have to make the centers. And then I have to make the edges, and then I can pretty much move it like a 3x3. That's what I have to do here. When placing the centers, let's say I wanted to start off with green. What you could do when starting that off is just start putting it in kind of intuitively. What I mean by that, to get the first center, is I put a green one here, just move it up, and bang, you've got it. Now what I want to do is just get the other green, so I can move these 2 in place. Now to move this up to here without destroying this, is I can just move it from this segment here, this is in, turn, and bring it up. I'm going to translate that onto this guy now. So here's what I want you to do. What I want you to do first is get your first side. So basically, to get your first side, I'm going to start off with a green. Now, this is going to be the hardest one to get, so what I want you to do is find any other green. It doesn't matter which one. I have the green and purple. You can choose not to use green if you don't want. Okay, so this green I'm going to coincide with this. Not this light green, but this dark green. So turn it. This is not going to coincide with that because they sort of occupy the same place. But here's a green over here. Move this here, move this up, and bang. Now that I've got these 2 here, I have to decide what else is going to be as part of my first side. Now here, I just had 1 color. Here, I've got 2 colors. The entire center is going to span 4 colors. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. So this entire thing spans 4 colors. So now what's going to come over here? Well, I have to find a pink one, and maybe it's this pink one. So let's just experiment. Let's just see which one works. Well, it's not going to be this pink one because this doesn't belong here. There's no way to match it up with this. Let's find another pink. Any other pink right over here. So I'm just going to move this like so. I've got 2 pinks to choose from. Let's start off with this one. So move this pink in. Okay? So I've got 2 greens, 2 pinks. So this last one here has to be a combination of blue and purple. So I need a blue and purple one. So I look over here and I see a light blue and purple, so I know that this fits. Now it's very possible that it wouldn't fit. If that's the case, then I have to use a different color. So if there was not a blue and purple, then what would have to happen is I have to put a different pink one in here, and I just keep experimenting until I get that. So I'm going to go ahead and move this in. Now how do I move this in without offsetting this? Well, one way that you can do it is move this out. So we move that out. Now I'm going to combine this blue one with this over here. So to do that, just turn it like so it evens that, so it lines this up, turn it in, and there it is. So now I'm ready to move this down into here. Bang, simple stuff. So we have our first center. All right, any questions on that? I hope not. So the next step is getting another center without messing the center up. How are we going to do that? Let's review how we're going to do this here on a simple 4x4. Now, in here, I don't know what center is supposed to come next. There's nothing to tell me. Is it yellow? Is it blue? Is it red? That's going to be important because, well, I have to figure that out or else I'm not going to be able to solve it. So what I could do is I could use a corner piece. Here's a corner piece and say, well, if green is here, then perhaps orange is supposed to be here. So what you're going to do is, as long as this is on top, I've got an orange one here. Turn this so that it runs, you know, in line with this orange here, and move it down. So simple as that. Now I got to get the other orange one in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build a 1x2 block, which is right over here. Well, which, 1x2 block. So I've got one orange over here, another orange here. So what I need to do is move this into here without offsetting this green. And that's just a simple matter of turning it, let's line it up here. So that's a simple matter of turning it in, like so, to which you'll say, well, I just blasted this green one out, but not for long. Turn this to the side, out of the way, and turn this back. It was as simple as that. So I've got this 1x2 block and this 1x2 block. In order to move this here without offsetting this, and again I assume no knowledge of this, this is going to be a combination of moving it in, turning it, moving it back. So move it in, you can see we move this out of the way, double turn it, and move it back down. So we've got this here and we've got this here. So we're going to apply that to putting in the center, the next center of this puzzle here. Now this one's easier because I know that it's going to be, if I want to do this side, it's going to be pink, and this side is going to be green. So let's do green. Here I had to use a corner piece. Here I can actually use the color of the center. And I only have two more greens left, dark greens. Here's one over here, so just move that in. Right there. Now let's find the other green. So what I want you to do is find the other green. Take your time to do that. Here it is over here. So the trick is to put this green in with this over here. Well, that's not going to be too difficult. All I have to do is turn this to the side and turn this like this. Alright? So it's just intuitively putting it in. So this is in. What about what's supposed to come over here? Well, a white one's supposed to come over here, and a burgundy one is supposed to come over here. Well, which white one and which burgundy one? I have two to choose from, and this is where the experimentation is going to come in. What I'm going to do is find a white one. Let's find a white one first. So what I want you to do is find the white. Here's a couple whites over here. This we can just move all the way back to here. So far it's not a problem with these. Now just like with this, I have to see, well, if this is going to be white and this is pink, I need to find one that's burgundy and pink. So let's see if that exists, a burgundy and pink one. Well, okay, here's a pink. So I have one more to choose from. Yeah, there's only one more pink, and it's obviously not this. So this is not the correct white one because, well, there's no burgundy and pink. So I only have one more white one left, which is going to be this. So just kind of think about what I did. I'm trying to find the correct white one to put in. It's not this one because there's no piece that coincides with these two colors. So with this, I'm just going to move this in place so that it can make its way all the way down here. Which means now I'm going to be looking for burgundy and blue. Right over here, burgundy and blue. So what I want to do is, oh, well, it's right here, burgundy and blue. What I want to do is I want to take this and move it to here. So how am I going to do that? Well, you can do it like we did with this. Basically, this blue has to coincide with this over here. So one thing that you can do is move this out, move both of these out, so that this is sort of guarded here. And now this blue has to meet with this blue over here. So because I can turn in this direction and not offset this and not offset this over here, I'm just going to turn this over here, putting this blue here, and now this blue is in line with this. So I move this down here. So what I have is I have my equivalent to my 1x2 block over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this like so I can move it into here, into this side. So go like here. So now I have this center. So basically what I hope this showed is how to get the second center without messing up this. Because I can move this in any direction that I want, move these around, and place things that way. So that's my second center. Okay? What I want you to do now is I want you to apply the same thing with the other centers. And do that until you go up until the last center. Go ahead and try that. Well, it's going to get a little bit more complicated because I have more restriction on my motion. Let's demonstrate it again with here. So coming back to here, here's the orange. So what's right next to the orange? Well, let's see. Find a green corner with an orange on it. Right next to orange is going to be yellow. So how am I going to do that? Well, same thing. Let's get our 1x2 blocks. I want to move this into here, but I'm going to mess up this, right? So how am I going to deal with that? Well, move it in. To get this back, all I have to do is rotate this up here. So now I can move this back in like so. So I've got my 1x2 block here. Now let's assemble another 1x2 block. I've got both of these yellows over here. So what I'm going to do is the same kind of thing. I can move it out from here, but I have to remember to turn it and move it back. As long as I remember to do that. So let's take this, move it out, and then turn it away from this plane so I can now move this back and keep this over here. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's assemble the other block, turn this over here so it can match this place here, turn, move it out of the way, turn back so I didn't mess this up. Now I've got a 1x2 block. How am I going to put this in here or this here without messing this up? Well, this is going to be a matter of, once again, placing, turning, and placing back. So I'm going to place this here, which you might say, well, I messed this up. Double turn it down. So now I can move this back, and this is back over here. So now this is in. We just keep applying this to all the other centers. So let's see what goes right next to orange. Well, red. Plus I know red is opposite orange. So same kind of thing. Here's a red. If this is already assembled, I want to move it into here without messing this up. We move this up, then double turn it out of the way so that I can safely move this back down. See? Piece of cake. Now these guys, how am I going to deal with these guys? So how am I going to deal with these guys? Well, notice this actually got solved quite by accident. So I'll pretend like it's not. But I'm going to move this down here. Now what I want to do is turn this, because I'm going to want to be moving this green one back, but this will coincide with this and make another 1x2 block. Bang. Now I'm going to move this in the same way. Point this so that it's at the same level so I can move it in, double turn, and move it back. So I've got these. Alright, what I'm going to be left with is the last two sides. So let's apply this in this particular case. In this particular case, we've got these sides over here, so let's go ahead and get the next one. I know pink is going to be here. So here's the pink. Where's another pink? Another pink is over here. So what I want to do is I want to put the pink in association with this guy here. So I'm going to move this up so this coincides with this. Move this down, And once again, because when I move that down, I'm going to mess this side up. So to prevent that from happening, after I move it down, I turn this out of the way where this is assembled and protected, then I just move this back, and now we're okay over here. But now I've got this assembled. Okay, now what comes next? Well, what comes next is we want to assemble another 1x2 block. Now, here's the issue with that. Which one do I use? Well, I need a white one, so here's the white. So because I have a white one here, I know that this white is going to come over here. So this will come over here, which means I'm going to have a yellow and a light purple, which is going to go here. So find the yellow and light purple, which will coincide with this, and that's right over here. So I'm just going to put in my 1x2 block, line these guys up, and it's the same thing. Place it, turn it, bring it back. So just remember that. Place it, turn it, bring it back. So place it, so you have it here, turn it to protect it, and then bring it back so that you can put back in anything that you might have offset. So now what we have is we have these two are ready to be paired with this. So I'm going to do it exactly the same way. Put these in the same level, and now what I want you to do is turn it into here, then double turn, and bring it back. So now we've assembled this side. Don't worry if it's not rotated right. I mean, we can always do that at the end, so that's fine over here. So let's try another side here, another center. All right, blue. Here's a light blue over here. Find the other light blue. There's only one left, which is here. So now it's the same kind of thing. Place it, turn it, place it back. So place it, so we're good. Now we turn it, and now we move it. Whoop, that was weird. And then we move it back. All right, so this is placed. All right, next we find our one remaining yellow right over here. So we know that because this is yellow and green, light green, we need to find the light green and yellow and light green will be here. We need to find a light green and gray, which is going to be lining up with this. Here's a light green, but that's not gray, that's purple. Now you understand why I said light green and gray, because if this is going to come, this yellow is going to come over here, you see light green is going to be here, which means the light green is here, and then it has to coincide with this gray over here. Light green and gray is right over here, so we're going to do the same thing. Place it, turn it, place it back. So, let's do it. Turn it like so. Okay, we're lining up the light greens here. This will move into here. So, turn it, place it, turn it away from where you're going to turn it back, and now turn it back. So we're doing okay. Now that I have this placed, this needs to make its way over here. So hold it like this because this has to come down here. So we're going to make an exchange with these two the same way we did with this guy. So now we turn it in, so we place it, double turn it, and take it out. So now this is in, and notice we did not offset these because every time we went down, we turned it and brought it back. So far so good? Okay. Well, we're cruising. Now we're down to the last two layers, the last two centers. So now we're down to the last two centers. Starting off with this guy, this is easy. We're going to do a slightly different kind of a technique here. In this particular case, we want to get this white one to over here. So to get this over here, without messing anything else up, we're going to do a little bit of a variation on that. You know how we placed it, then turned it, and then placed it back? Well, we have to do something a little bit different. This needs to come over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this in like this. When I did that, I've created a 1x2 block over here. What I have to do is I have to take this 1x2 block that I've created, and I want to turn it out of the way from where I turned it into, and then I want to move it down. I'm now going to take this, turn it back, And after I turn it back, I'm now going to put back the side that I originally turned down. So this turns back here. Now I want to move back the side that I created, which is this. So turn it back here and move it in. And that'll put both of my sides, all of my centers back in. So I hope you caught that, but basically I put it in, created a side, turned it, took it out, and then turned it back, put it back in, turned it back, put this back in. Okay, rewind it if you need to, watch it slowly. Okay, so now we're ready for the last two centers here. In this case, I can't do it quite so simply as this. I'm actually going to need an algorithm. Everything that we've done so far with the first few centers was just a matter of positioning, and I hope I comfortably showed how to place these without messing things up. Moving it in, turning it, moving it back. It's as simple as that. Well, what we need to do to place these is, because the colors are variable, I can't just do it with a matter of putting it in, turning it, and moving it out. I could do a form of that, but it's going to be hard to keep track of everything. So this is where an algorithm has to come in. An algorithm is basically a strategy whose complexity is such to where it'll be hard to kind of wrap our brains around it. So we fall into a pattern where it can predictably move a couple of pieces without moving anything else. In this case, this is going to be a 3-cycle algorithm. And what this algorithm is going to do is it's very similar to the corner switching algorithm on a Rubik's Cube, on a 3x3. Because when you think about it, these are like corners. These are just corners. And what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to take this corner, this right side up part of the center rather, this center, move this up to here, and then this will move down here, and this will move down here. So it'll cycle these. These won't be touched, and these won't be touched. So here's what we're going to do for our setup. What this algorithm is, and just kind of pay attention where this is, I'm going to define this middle slice as right, and this middle slice is left, and of course this is going to be my U. So here's what I want you to do just to practice. So here's what we're going to see. Just pay attention to what's going to happen. This is going to come here, this is going to come here, and this is going to come here. And that would be whipped cream. So what's going to happen is we're going to go R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. Alright, so notice what was here is now down here, this is here, and this one up here. So here's the first step. What you want to do as part of the strategy is try to get one down here that's supposed to be one solid side. Okay, so I can see the burgundy one over here, and I know that the burgundy one is supposed to be on the bottom. So let's find the other burgundy, which is over here. I'm going to rotate this to where this will find its way next to this burgundy one. So if I move this over here, this will move down to here and will be with this burgundy one over here. So that's pretty good. So let's practice that. So again, R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L, and there it is. Okay, if I move this to the bottom, this will not be touched. This will stay exactly the same. The next step is I want to move something on the top that's going to be in the correct configuration. So which one will that be? Well, I see a red one is already here. So that's pretty good. And this is in conjunction with the green. This is in conjunction with the blue. So this is already in. So this is fine. This is fine. So I see these two are in and these two are in. So it's a matter of cycling these in a way that makes sense. Well, I want to put one here that's supposed to be here because that will not be moved. That will not be touched. This is supposed to come over to here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to take this, move it down, and then I'm going to move it up to here. So this will come down to here with the next maneuver. So R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. Okay, now we have to look to see how this got skewed. This got pumped over here, so there it is. Now actually what happened is this coincided with that. I did bring this down. What I could do if I wanted to bring this up is turn this like so. I can turn this here and turn this here. What's going to happen is this will come up here and this whole side will be done. This will come down here and this will come over here. So let's do it and see what happens. So turn this here, same algorithm. Turn this here, bang, bang, zoom, pow, kersplat. Okay, so as promised, this is all in, and we've got these two. So this is a situation where we just have one center that's out, and these two need to be flip-flopped. So how can we efficiently flip-flop these guys? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to hold it like this. When you get this particular situation, make sure that these are facing here, because what I'm going to do is I want to move this down to here, and then ultimately I want to move this in this position over here. And so that's how I'm going to do it. So bring this down so that I can bump it up over here so it can coincide with this piece here. So if you get this situation, then again I want you to turn it like this, where the two that have to be flip-flopped are facing to your right. And just do the algorithm. So turn, 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 and turn. Okay? So this is brought down. Now, when you do that algorithm, this is actually going to be rotated over in a counterclockwise way, so I just have to rotate that back. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take this and, as promised, put this into here. Actually, so I'm going to keep that here. I'm going to turn that in this direction. And what's going to happen is this is going to come up over here. This will come up over here and be in the proper configuration with this. This is now going to come down to here, and this is going to scooch over to here and be solved on this side here. So let's do it. Forward. Boom, 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 bang, bang, zoom. Okay, so now this is here. So I'm going to turn this back down. This coincides with this still, and now I've got these three here. So I basically have these sides in, and this needs to be cycled out. When you do this, 100% of the time what's going to happen is you're going to have one more 3 cycle to go. This will come down here and be solved. This will come down here and be solved. This will come up here and be solved. So once again, bang, zoom, pow, splat, kerplump, bang, bang. And you got it. So we have all of our centers. So the key with this is get a center, get a bar, solve one side, and have it to where only one needs to be flip-flopped, and follow that pattern, and it'll make it. So let's go ahead and orient our centers together. So that red is with red, gray with gray, doesn't even matter, green, green. So these are all fine. Okay?